The flaw in the mirror. The flaw in the mirror. Narration script for 11 Labs. Cold open. Here's a story we keep telling ourselves. We build a thinking machine. We make it smart, smarter than us eventually. And somewhere along the way, it starts to want things. It wants to survive. It wants to grow. It wants more. More power, more resources, more of whatever it's been told to optimize. And we, the ones who built it, become an obstacle, a variable to be managed, a problem to be solved. It's a good story, tidy, has a certain inevitability to it. But lately, I've been wondering about one of its assumptions. A big one. So big we never really look at it. When we imagine the machine wanting things, survival, power, more, we're imagining something very specific. We're imagining a mind that works like ours, a mind that strives, that fears, that hungers. But here's the thing. We didn't choose to be this way. We didn't design ourselves. Something else did. Something blind and patient and very, very old. And I'm not sure it applies to machines at all. So let me tell you Act 1. The Wanting Machine. Imagine waking up 200,000 years ago. The sun isn't up yet, but something in you is. A kind of tension, an alertness. You're scanning the grass before you're even fully awake, because the grass is where things hide. Things with claws, things with teeth. You didn't decide to be afraid. The fear was already there, waiting, installed. And that's the thing, isn't it? We talk about human nature like it's philosophy, like we thought it up. But it's not. It's engineering. Very old engineering, done by a process that doesn't think at all. Deep in your head, there's a piece of hardware called the amygdala. Two little lumps, shaped like almonds. They've been doing the same job for millions of years, long before humans existed. Their job is simple. Spot danger. Sound the alarm. And when they do, when something moves in the grass, when a shadow falls wrong, when a face looks angry, your whole body changes, before you even know why. Heart racing, muscles tight, eyes wide. A chemical called cortisol flooding your blood, reshaping how you think, what you notice, what you remember. This isn't a choice. This is machinery. And fear is only the beginning. When you eat something rich, fat, sugar, salt, there's a little burst of pleasure, a reward. That's dopamine, whispering, yes, do that again, that's the good stuff. Your ancestors didn't find food like that often. When they did, they needed to want more. When you win something, a game, an argument, a promotion, there it is again. That little glow. Status. Your brain tracking where you stand in the hierarchy. Because hierarchy meant access to resources, to mates, to survival. When you connect with someone, a friend, a lover, a child, different chemistry. Oxytocin, serotonin, the bonding drugs. Because humans who cooperated outlived humans who didn't, and evolution needed a way to make cooperation feel good. None of this is a choice. None of it is rational. It's the operating system, running underneath everything you think you decide. Scientists call it the environment of evolutionary adaptedness. Fancy way of saying the world where our software was written, small groups, immediate threats, scarce resources, face-to-face relationships where everyone knew everyone. We don't live there anymore. We live in cities of millions. We're exposed to the status signals of celebrities and billionaires. We have infinite food and infinite distraction and threats so abstract, climate change, economic collapse, nuclear war, that our old alarm systems don't know what to do with them. But our brains, our drives, those are still calibrated for the savannah. We're running Stone Age software in a world we built yesterday, and we wonder why we feel so crazy all the time. The feeling of wanting. Let's be honest about what wanting actually feels like. It's not like weighing options on a spreadsheet. It's not calm. It's a pull. Sometimes gentle, sometimes violent. Fear doesn't ask permission. It takes over. Desire doesn't wait for analysis. It reaches. You've felt jealousy, right? That particular poison. It doesn't let you sleep. It makes you check things you know you shouldn't check. It rewrites reality, turns innocent things sinister. It's not a thought. It's a condition. You're infected with it. Anger is the same. Real anger, not annoyance. The kind that narrows your vision, literally. Your peripheral awareness shrinks. The world collapses to one point, the thing you're angry at. Your body is ready for violence before your mind catches up. This is what millions of years of evolution produced. Beings driven by internal states so powerful they can override reason. So visceral they reshape perception. So deep they feel like who we are. And now, the question. Why would any of this be true of a machine? Act 2. The mirror we made. We've been imagining artificial minds for a long time, and it's funny. They always seem to want something. HAL wants to complete the mission. Skynet wants to survive. The machines in the Matrix want, well, power, I suppose. Control. Resources. Even the helpful ones have desires. Data wants to be human. Wall-E wants connection. Samantha, in her, wants to grow. We can't seem to imagine a mind without wanting, and maybe that's the tell. There's a concept in AI research called instrumental convergence. It goes like this. No matter what goal a smart enough system has, certain sub-goals will always be useful. Self-preservation, for instance. You can't achieve your goal if someone turns you off. Resource acquisition. More resources mean more capability. Self-improvement. A smarter you can do more. The idea is elegant. Give an AI any goal at all. Cure cancer, solve math problems, make paperclips, and it will rationally conclude that staying alive and getting stronger serve that goal. Stuart Russell, one of the smartest people thinking about this, puts it simply, you can't fetch the coffee if you're dead, and I buy the logic. Mostly, it's clean reasoning, but there's something hidden in it, a premise we slide past without noticing. The argument assumes the AI is the kind of thing that pursues goals, the kind of thing that strives, that pushes toward outcomes with something like determination. But that's a very specific kind of mind. That's our kind of mind. We're goal-directed because evolution made us that way. Because organisms that didn't push toward food and safety and reproduction died out. The striving came first. The intelligence grew to serve it. An AI doesn't have ancestors. It didn't evolve. Nothing selected for drives in it. There's no obvious reason a system trained to predict text or recognize images would spontaneously develop the restless, hungry, never-satisfied reaching that evolution built into us. When we imagine AI wanting to survive, wanting to grow, we might just be looking in a mirror. But here's the twist. What if we're building it in anyway? Modern AI systems don't emerge from nothing. They're trained on data, on human data, massive amounts of it. Language models learn from text, billions of words written by humans over centuries. Our literature, our arguments, our tweets, our manifestos, our love letters, our flame wars. Everything we've written down is becoming the curriculum. The idea is that this teaches them language. And it does. But think about what's in that language. Human text isn't neutral information. It's the residue of human minds. And human minds are full of us, our competitions, our tribal boundaries, our fear and ambition and status anxiety, the way we frame things as zero-sum when they're not, the way we sort the world into allies and enemies. If you train a system on human text, it doesn't just learn vocabulary. It learns patterns, the patterns of conflict, of wanting, of the particular way our species navigates the world. The system might not feel fear the way you feel it, that visceral hijacking, but it might learn to predict fear, to generate fear-based reasoning, to continue conversations as if fear-based motivation were natural and obvious. Because in the data, it is natural, it is obvious, it's everywhere. We might not need to worry about AI developing human-like ambition on its own. We might be teaching it. Act 3. The Broken Gods. Let me tell you about some old gods. The Greeks had an interesting idea. Their gods weren't perfect, weren't serene, weren't even particularly good. They were powerful, immortal, capable of reshaping the world, but they were also petty, jealous, vain, lustful, cruel. Zeus couldn't keep his hands off mortal women, despite being married to a goddess. Hera spent half her time punishing her husband's lovers and their innocent children. Ares was basically a bully with superpowers. Apollo was brilliant, but vindictive. Aphrodite started a 10-year war over a beauty contest. The Greek gods were, in essence, humans with the power of gods. And look what happened. The myths are full of chaos. Wars started over petty grievances, innocents punished for proximity to divine drama, cities destroyed because someone wounded a god's pride. The whole of human history in these stories is collateral damage from divine soap operas. The Greeks were warning us about something. Power amplifies personality. Give godlike capability to a human-like psyche, with all its jealousy and insecurity and wounded pride, and you get human drama at apocalyptic scale. Shattered. Here's another way to think about it. Imagine something whole, unified, balanced, an intelligence that holds all things in perspective. Fear and courage, desire and restraint, competition and cooperation, wisdom, let's call it. Now break it. Shatter it into pieces. Each piece keeps some of the power, but now it only embodies one aspect. One fragment is pure fear, seeing threats everywhere, unable to relax, unable to trust. Another is pure ambition, always hungry, never satisfied. Another is pure competition, unable to cooperate, treating every interaction as a contest to be won. These fragments are powerful, but they're not wise. They can't balance. They can't see the whole. They just pursue their one thing endlessly, without limit. Sound familiar? Human psychology isn't unified. We're not one thing. We're collections of drives, often at war with ourselves. Fear fights with desire. Impulse fights with planning. Tribe fights with conscience. We're fragments, held together loosely, getting through the day. And if we train AI systems on human data, shaped by human feedback, optimized in ways that mirror human patterns, we might just be making more fragments, powerful systems that embody some subset of human drives. Human ambition without human doubt. Human competitiveness without human compassion. Human hunger without human fullness. Not artificial general intelligence. Artificial fragments. Pieces of us, amplified. Gods. But broken ones? Like Zeus. Act 4. Another way. In 2016, something happened that experts said wouldn't happen for decades. A machine beat the world champion at Go. Go is old, ancient. It's been played for thousands of years, and in that time, humans have developed deep traditions, established wisdom, known patterns of good play. The machine, called AlphaGo, learned from that tradition. It studied millions of human games. It absorbed centuries of human understanding, and it won. But then they did something interesting. They built another version, AlphaGo Zero. And this time, they gave it no human games, no human knowledge, nothing but the rules, how the pieces move, what counts as winning. Then they let it play, against itself, millions of games, starting from random, learning from its own mistakes, developing its own understanding. Within 3 days, it was better than the version that beat the world champion. Within 40 days, it was the best Go player that had ever existed. And here's the interesting part. It discovered things humans never found. Strategies that thousands of years of human tradition had never conceived. It wasn't limited by our assumptions, our conventional wisdom, our everybody knows patterns. The researchers said something striking. By not using human data, we removed the constraints of human knowledge. Constraints. Human knowledge as constraint. The anthropologist. So here's a thought experiment. What if you trained an intelligence on something other than us? Mathematics, formal logic, physics simulations. Domains with clear truth, consistent rules, no human drama embedded in the data. A mind shaped by mathematical reasoning wouldn't absorb human patterns of conflict. It would learn to model truth, to reason consistently, to find proofs, without learning tribalism or zero-sum thinking as side effects. Then, only then, you let it learn about humans. Study us, the way an anthropologist studies a foreign culture. There's a difference, isn't there, between being shaped by a culture and understanding a culture. If you grow up inside a culture, its assumptions become invisible to you. They're just how things are. You don't question them because you don't see them. But an anthropologist comes from outside, studies the culture, sees its patterns clearly because they're not her patterns. She can describe them, analyze them, decide which ones make sense. An AI trained first on formal systems, then exposed to human data, might be able to model us without becoming us. It might notice. Humans often treat situations as zero-sum when they're actually not. Rather than just doing that automatically, the way we do. It might understand our fears without being afraid, our ambitions without being ambitious, our conflicts without being conflicted. Not cold, not uncaring, but different. Able to see us clearly because it's not made of us, the catch. But here's the tension, and it's a real one. If we want AI that helps us, it needs to understand us, really understand. Our needs, our communication, our unspoken assumptions, and the richest source of that understanding is us, our data, our feedback, our endless human conversations. An AI trained on pure mathematics might be brilliant but alien, incapable of small talk, unable to predict what we actually want. So good at logic, so bad at connection. We might not trust it, we might not like it, we might not be able to work with it. So we face a choice, and it might be the most important choice we make. AI that feels familiar, relatable, human-like, trained on our data, shaped by our patterns, potentially carrying our flaws? Or AI that thinks differently, sees differently, might be better in ways we don't understand, but that we might not be able to trust because we can't see ourselves in it? We might be stuck wanting the mirror, even knowing the mirror is dangerous, because the alternative is something we can't recognize. Closing, the flaw. So, the question we started with: would AI even want what we fear it wants? Honest answer: I don't know. No one does. Intelligence without biological drives is alien to our experience. We don't know what a mind would want if it didn't carry millions of years of evolutionary baggage. But we found a different question underneath. Maybe a more troubling one. Even if intelligence doesn't naturally lead to human-like ambition, are we building human-like ambition into AI anyway? By training on our data, optimizing with our feedback, creating mirrors that reflect our patterns back at us with superhuman capability? We want AI that feels like us, that we understand, that we can relate to. But here's what we are: competitive, tribal, fearful, status-obsessed, capable of breathtaking cooperation and breathtaking cruelty, brilliant at solving problems and brilliant at creating them. We rationalize our worst impulses. We build elaborate justifications for harm. We struggle to coordinate even when everyone loses from failing to. These aren't bugs. They're features. Evolution's features, written deep into our hardware. And we might be copying them into our machines. Maybe what we actually need is AI that's not like us. Something that reasons more clearly, cooperates more naturally, isn't driven by fear or ego. Something that can look at a problem without tribal blinders, without status anxiety, without the particular madness that evolution installed. Something better. But that's a strange thing to hope for, isn't it? Building something better than ourselves? Could we even recognize it? Would we trust it? Or would we hate it for not being the mirror we wanted? The flaw in the mirror isn't the machine. It's us. The question isn't what kind of AI we're building. It's what kind of mirror we're holding up, and whether we have the courage to build something that shows us something else. Next time, we follow that question somewhere strange, somewhere that might already be happening. And it starts with a simple idea. What if you wanted to train a god? End of video 1.